Hello, it's Adam Morrison. When it comes to top-tier contracting, my go-to choice is McGilvery Environmental. I know a thing or two about excellence, and that's exactly what you'll find with Kip McGilvery and his team. They're not just any contractor, they're the best in Spokane and North Idaho. From start to finish, they ensure your project is completed with the highest quality results. With years of experience and expertise, they handle it all. New construction, meticulous repairs, asphalt paving for residential and commercial properties, excavation, and even environmental remediation. So why wait? Reach out to Kip McGilvery Environmental today by calling 208-556-6384 for your free estimate. Don't forget to mention my name, Adam Morrison, and experience the difference McGilvery Environmental brings to the table. Again, that's 208-556-6384, McGilvery Environmental. My number one choice for all my contracting needs. M4 CPA is a family-owned accounting firm passionate about helping businesses and their owners create a secure future for their families. They pride themselves on the quality of their work and put their clients first, ensuring they get the attention and care they deserve. Their mission is to provide exceptional accounting services to help you achieve your financial goals. M4 CPA is all about building long-term relationships based on trust, integrity, and transparency. With a team of experienced professionals, they offer personalized solutions to meet your needs. If you're a Perimeter listener, here's an exclusive offer for you. Mention the Perimeter podcast when you reach out to M4 CPA and get a free business consultation to assess your financial strategies. So, if you're looking for an accounting firm that truly cares about your business, trust M4 CPA. Accounting you can trust with a personal touch. Learn more at m4cpa.com. Welcome to the Perimeter, Season 5, Episode 6, presented by McGilvery Environmental, Idaho Central Credit Union, M4 CPA. On this episode, we're going to recap Creighton and ASU, do a quick preview of Southern Utah, and then do our sponsor questions. Nice week for us, with the last two wins. Creighton in the McCarthy Athletic Center. Kind of unique situation. We're going to play them, I think, in Omaha next year, on campus or on campus, but close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they'll probably draw a ton. But, really good basketball team. Came in with a bunch of transfers, right? But like two big-time ones from Iowa. They had the 2023 freshman of the year, the Owen Freeman kid. He averaged like 18 and 10 for Iowa that year. Then the Dix kid was one of their bigger one of their bigger transfers, averaged like 16 at Iowa, and they both came in. So it was a talent-laden team, but it was also one of those things where there was only one, one game to kind of judge off of. So it's like weird when you do these previews, and I've talked about it on our broadcast and on this podcast that, I hope people understand we're not like going light on like what they're doing, but it's all conjecture because you don't have any, foundation of like it used to be. Okay, this group's played together 30 games or 40 games, and you can kind of predict guys will usually get better and, get 20 pounds heavier and 1 year older and all that stuff. It's like, okay, they have the best player from this conference, and then sometimes it's lower. The MVP of such league, but is he going to be used to playing without the ball in his hands every time? Like that happens a lot.
Yeah.
So, coming into it, we knew two things though. We knew like Coach McDermott's fantastic, and they're pretty much kind of like us as far as mid-major. I know people don't like to hear that. We've kind of outgrown that, but as far as school size and not football is what we mean by that.
Yeah.
They're in a bigger conference than us. Big East is a big-time conference. But they've had, great NCAA tournament success. They just haven't had, we've had two Final Four runs. But for like 15 years, if you take our, the 25, minus 10, we look pretty similar as far as NCAA tournament success, conference winning, winning percentage. So you knew that coming in that they were going to be a really well-coached basketball team. The question for me going into that game was how are they going to guard us inside? Were they going to double team? We had bigger size. They're long at every position, but just having two big lefties. And then our guard or our perimeter length is going to be bothersome for a lot of teams where we'll have an advantage
And I thought our guys did an excellent job of kind of coming out and executing a game plan, and really, took it to them early. We were only up 6 at halftime, but we controlled the pace the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
We shot it decently. It wasn't, something that we're like, oh my God, but we were we were 11 of 24, so 46%, but 5 of 13 from downtown, so 38%. That's not bad. 11 of 16 from the free throw line in the first half. So that obviously our advantage was the free throw discrepancy.
Yeah.
Right. So it was one of those things where we had to, understand, when you're playing at home, take it to the rim, blah, 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 And so, I thought that our first half kind of looked like what it should. If you probably had a first half line, I think the line was like 11.5. I'd looked. We're up 6. It's like, well, Vegas is pretty good again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I bet you that was the first half line. So it kind of went the way that we wanted it to. But, it's one of those things that if we, we haven't put together like a complete knockout punch in the first half, like a huge run yet. Does this team have that talent to do it? Absolutely. But in the second half, it was, much better. We ended up outscoring it by 21 and kind of just blew that game wide open. Our defense was absolutely terrific. For the most part, our guys just really, as far as we've doing the 30 press, the 1-2-2, that bothered them a little bit. And then they really went cold. The Owen Freeman kid was, I think, what was his line? 1 for 2, and he only played 15 minutes. So I think the thing is he had a knee issue last year, so he's probably not right. And then the Josh Dix kid, who was a big-time scorer at Iowa, goes 1 for 9, only has 12. Yeah. And so the reason I'm mentioning that is we really took them away from their 2 best players, quote-unquote, early in the season, and just really made it difficult for them. They ended up shooting 18 of 49, 36%. From the field. Obviously, that's not great. And we hold them to 28% from the free throw line. We shoot 52% from the field on the game, 9 of 27 from 3. That's something we're going to talk about a little bit. So we just, what's nice about this team, we haven't shot the ball well from 3 yet.
Right.
But we've had games where we've out-rebounded people. By a significant margin. We go +8 on that side. Then we go 19 assists to only 8 turnovers, which is absolutely terrific. And we caused 18 turnovers by them. We have 11 steals. So our defense was absolutely terrific. Graham Ike inside was phenomenal. He has, 20 and 10, 8 for 10. It's the game where he went 3 for 3 from 3 to start the game. It was like bonkers. It was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And he was just on a tremendous groove. Up to that point, he was 0 for 4. So that, up to that point, he's a 50%. But they were playing, completely off of him, which I understand percentage-wise. But after he made the first 2, then they came out a little bit, still dared him. But, it was kind of fun to watch. He was perfect for, I think, all the way to 7 for 7. Then he ended finished 8 for 10. But I was like, he might have a perfect game. Braden was terrific. Has 14 points as well. Had 4 fouls. He's had some weird foul trouble deals going on that spilled over into the Arizona State game. I'll talk about that. Adam Miller was terrific. He has 11 points, 5 or 8, 0 for 3 from 3. Again, that's on the we're not calling people out, but we're just talking about the 3-point shooting. As a totality. Then Mario Saint-Cyprien was awesome off the bench at 13 points, 5 of 6. From the field, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 3 steals. Jalen Warley, again, too, was terrific. 9 points off the bench, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 assists. Had a block for good measure. So, all in all, I'm really liking how this team is kind of shaping out. Obviously the Creighton game was a big game. That team is going to win 20-plus games. They're going to finish, I think they're finished to pick 3rd in the Big East. They're going to finish in the top half, maybe win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really good basketball team. So that's going to be a tournament resume win. And so, yeah, I was was really happy with our guys. We just blew that game wide open with our defense in the second half, and it's nice to see us kind of gelling. Obviously, it's early in the season, but it's going to be the topic until they're never going to take the transfer portal away. But you're always kind of wondering how teams and how long it takes, and obviously our culture is great and our ability to run a system. But at the same time, it's like, some guys come from different conferences, and like I said, the ball's in their hands a ton, and how you going to do with that? And so, because I think a little bit, Tyon was terrific the game before against Oklahoma, correct? If my memory serves.
Yeah, he was.
And then he goes 1 for 7, 1 for 6 from downtown. So it's like, okay, back to earth a little bit. He's still flying around, but, it's harder when you're coming off the bench and you're not used to, you're used to getting the ball in your hands. You'll be able to take, step back jumpers and don't have to look over your shoulder, all those things. So the point is, you have a bunch of those guys that were the best player on their respective teams, and they have to adjust. Now, the argument would be like, well, you have to do that when you go to high school to college. Well, it's different once you're established.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's an obvious one. But once you're established, it's like, okay, I can obviously play at this level. But, overall, it was a terrific game. Like I said, the 19 assists, only 8 turnovers. It's mirroring what we were with the two Nemhard brothers, where we're always creeping 17+ assists, under 10 turnovers. You can't beat that, right? You just can't. And it's so like even during the games, and some people kind of complain about certain guards or whatever having a couple bad turnovers, and you're like, dude, we had 7 as a team. Like, okay, somebody's gonna dribble off their foot every once in a while,
right? Or
throw a shitty bounce pass. Well, okay, you know what I mean? So maybe you have to put it in perspective, because if you want to go too perfect, it's impossible to play like that. And especially you want guys to have the feeling that they can make those type of passes without getting yanked every single time. You know what I mean? And it's like a quarterback where if you want to sling it downfield and always go downfield, you're gonna have some picks. You know what I mean? But if you're pushing the ball downfield, that's defense has got to fear you. Then you can hand the ball off for 6 yards. Everyone, you know what I'm saying? It's no different than a point guard. Can I make this cross-court pass? Time and score obviously matters, but early on, can I try to thread one? And if I don't, am I going to get chewed out the rest of the game and get yanked? No. Okay, so then, that's how that situation is came out. But our guys have taken care of the basketball. I thought Braden Smith was good.
Yeah.
Starting, obviously he had 6 points, 5 assists, no turnovers. Okay. Creighton early in that game was doing a plug defense. A plug defense is where the guy guarding the ball screen, it's kind of called a center field as well. It's where you kind of drop and you just muck up the paint, but you're trying to take away the roll.
Gotcha.
So, like, how he's really good with Graham and especially Braden on hitting that short roll, and Braden can make those 8-footers. That's what usually when the big is showing, you can throw that little knife bounce pass. If you plug, you kind of take that away. But then you're giving up like a 15-footer. Remember, he hit those 2 15-footers. And it was nice to see those go down for him, because he didn't have a great game against Oklahoma. He had a quick hook.
Yeah, he did.
Remember that? And so coming into this game, just from a totality thing or an experience thing, you want your lead guard to start playing good. It doesn't mean he was playing shitty, but you want some to go down, have some rhythm.
Right.
He did that. And so, 6 points, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. I know people like, oh my God. It's like, well, that's solid.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we need him to be, is solid, and he has been so far. And so, I was happy for him to get that game, a good game under his belt. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, okay, with this first unit, we can get ourselves going. And then, like I said, Mario had a great game off the bench. But if you get that out of your guards, you get 19 points. What's the total assists? 8 assists, only 2 turnovers. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. Guys that are splitting, splitting the minutes. It's pretty productive. Especially with a team with a lot of other mouths to feed. Is my point. Now, if you were a little bit less talented, and you'd be like, okay, we got to be more productive. But I thought all in all it was a terrific game going into an ASU.
What would be your take on Tyon having kind of a tougher game, and it seems like when he gets in the game, gets the ball, his goal is to score.
Yes.
And sometimes that's going to work, and sometimes that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But what is your take on him doing that?
I thought that game the shot selection was bad. He was 1 for 6 from 3. He took a couple that were just weren't we're in the context of the offense.
Right.
So I think for him, watching him at Grand Canyon, he's like, kind of a one-on-one guy, and that's not a knock, but that's they would do the Carmelo stuff where he'd catch it at 19-9 and let him just kind of clear out a side and play. And then obviously they ran other actions for him, but the ball was going into his hands majority of the time. Then like I said, when you have that ability or that freedom, you can take some bad shots, but those start going in because you don't have to worry about it, and then you get in a rhythm.
Yeah.
I think this game he was just pushing a little bit too much and pressing, and took some bad threes. But his activity on the glass is always good, and his athletic ability just defensively is always good. So you kind of have to look at him in a sense. Obviously, you want him to be a 10-point-plus scorer, but if he doesn't have that type of game, you always bank on that he's going to have those two other things. Mm-hmm. Other people can make that up. So, right. I mean, we ended up winning by, 27?
Yeah.
And so, and one of our better scorers didn't have a great game. So,
yeah.
I just think shot selection was bad. It was bad. I mean, there was one on the radio that was like, oh God, right when he.
Well, it looked like he was passing, and then like.
He had a couple where his feet weren't set,
yeah,
and he would just jump. He was like, oh, and then it was like two minds, and then he was like, oh shit, I'm gonna shoot it, and then it just right when it left his hands, you're like, that is not a chance.
Yeah.
So that happens, and everybody has those type of games, but I think he's been terrific, and like I said, if he just gives you the rebounding and the defensive effort, flying around, being a slasher, and then you can mix in the other stuff, then he's really productive. But all in all, great game, great win at home. Like I said, that should turn into a quad 1, you'd think, or at least a quad 2. Mm-hmm. Creighton's a terrific basketball team. If you're a basketball junkie and you want like ATO out of timeout sets or like just little specials, them and like UConn, obviously Duke. But like if you're like a basketball coach and you want to like go on YouTube and watch like Doug McDermott's, like, he always has shit to his game, like as a coach. So like he's gonna. I know it's early in the season. You could tell like Freeman was hurt. You know what I mean? And the other kids just didn't make shots. So he kind of just was like, well, and it was one of those like, this team's gonna be a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't take anything away from us, but it's like this Creighton team's gonna be fine. So anyway, it was a really good win. It's gonna turn into a good tournament resume win. Now going down to Arizona State, it's kind of a weird game because they, again.
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for Home Team Rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa Rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next-level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/GoZags on approved credit.
Now, going down to Arizona State, it's kind of a weird game because, we played them last year, and if you look back, it was 88-80. It was like, shit.
Yeah.
I forgot. Like, that thing got close, and they always have talent, and they always play their ass off because they kind of have to. Obviously, you play with Hurley, like he ain't the type of coaches they are. Just, you got to play hard at all times. But it was a whole new team. And so you're like, does it matter from last year? You know what I mean? And obviously Adam Miller was kind of a semi-homecoming for him too, if that makes any sense, right?
Right.
For the transfer portal. But they had a lead guard, Mo Odom, who we've seen at Pacific, and then Pepperdine. And if you remember, I think it was last year at Pepperdine, he went bonkers at like 29 against us or something like that, if my memory serves. So you were like, okay, they got some familiarity. They have this Diop kid that was, like 7'1", a pro prospect, like huge body, long, pretty decent hands, blah, blah, blah. And then they have, just other good players. It's Arizona State. Like, they're going to have something. Some good Europeans. The word I got was they had to go a little bit to the European side because of NIL, which is crazy. Is people need to understand, like, when we talk about NIL, and this is not a knock on their program, but it's harder to raise money than people understand. And even like big places that you'd think that have, a huge alumni base and an attractive school, Doesn't mean they don't. I got to phrase this right. They don't have nothing, and I'm not implying that at all. But it's always an issue at a lot of these schools.
Right.
So it's like, be thankful if you're competing every single year. I'm dead ass serious when I talk about that, because there's some schools you're like, no, their booster base is really not that big or doesn't really give to sports that much. You're like, really? And I think it's kind of like that for them. And again, I'm not implying they have zero, but they're not like an Ohio State or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so I think Arizona State was trying to find kind of diamonds in the rough. The two European kids were solid. Like I mentioned, the Diop kid was good. So it was kind of one of those games you're like, okay, what they're going to look like. You know they're going to play hard. Coach Hurley can coach. But it's a whole fucking new team. So it was kind of a weird scout. They started off good.
Yeah.
We knew they liked to shoot a ton of threes. So it was kind of like one of those weird games because it was kind of the place holds like 14,000, but there was probably like 10 and a half, 11. So it felt good enough, but they weren't like hyped for it. So
Really?
it was, yeah, but it was at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it was homecoming weekend, and there was a football game at 11 the next day. So we were kind of like,
Gosh.
yeah, some people probably were like, I'm going to stay home and get ready for because if you think you were going to 11 o'clock football game, you're going to start pregame at like 9.
Right. Yeah.
Minimum, right?
Minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
You're getting,
homecoming. Like you're, I mean, and I'm not even talking about like just booze wise, like just do whatever you got to, brunch or whatever you take your parents out. You know what I mean? Like whatever you do, like you can't just show up on, start doing stuff an hour before a football game. Like you got to like kind of get ready to go. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
11 a.m. is a quick turnaround.
An 8 o'clock like start is. I mean, it reminds me of old school Gonzaga when we would be
On the big Mondays. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were on it. It was 9 at their time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they obviously don't do the daylight saving. So it was like whole day you're like, fuck, man, like let's get this game going. So anyway, they started off really good. Played, knocked down a couple threes early. But again, our defense kind of like finally took hold and just held them to a bad stretch. They only shot 35% in the first half, 5 of 17 from 3. That's 29%. We go 14 of 28, obviously, 50%, and then 3 for 9 from 3. But we were terrific from the free throw line, 14 and 18 for 78%. Graham was terrific, 3 for 6, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 11 points, 5 rebounds, a block, an assist in the first half. Let's see who else. Braden Huff was good, 3 of 3, had 9 points. Adam Miller was okay. No, actually he wasn't. He was 1 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3. Braden Smith didn't even take a field goal. 6 assists, 0 turnovers. Okay, no. Remember that. Okay. And then Inocente was 2 for 2, had 4 points. But Tyon was much better at 8 points, 4 for 6, and 8 rebounds in the first half. Jalen just flying around. Mario was okay, only had 2 points. Steele Venters, 2 for 4, knocked down 2 threes in that first half. So we ended up being up 13. Kind of felt like how the game was going to go. Playing simple basketball, we were much better inside than they were. Their double team package wasn't bad. We just didn't shoot it good enough, but they didn't double big to big like a lot of people were doing early in the season. We just, our two bigs are too good at passers to do that.
Yeah.
So they were doing the double off the first side, full rotate, which makes sense. And, you're going to get a lot of threes, but you're going to give up stuff too. But, you can't just, let your guys, with the Wolves down there, is what I'm trying to say. So you kind of have to help and you have to live with what you got. If you double team, but points in the paint, it was 22-12, bench points 19-7. So first half was completely in our favor. Mm-hmm. I thought, plus 11 on the glass too. Okay, sorry. I thought we got a better whistle in the first half. The 18 free throw attempts, were they physical? Yes, but I thought we got a couple that were like, ooh. Okay, then you have the Hurley cam. You're like looking over, like, here it comes, and he was pretty good early. And then Graham had that thunderous dunk.
Oh gosh, yeah.
At the end of the half, and I got to give Kurt, our one of our assistant coaches, like the video coordinator, I think that's his title. He's not going to get offended by that, but he called that. He suggested that play. I was right next to him, so good job by him. The play that they ran, and he got a wide open layup, a dunk out of it. So good job, Kurt. That's his job. But Graham said something. Okay, so this is going to be context for later on. Graham said something. I don't know what he said, but he obviously said something to whomever on the court, and Hurley was going crazy like it should have been a taunting technical, probably, because we've already seen Graham get one, a shitty one against Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. But it's a point of emphasis. They always say it every year, which it is, because that's how fights start and cheap shots and shit. Like, I get it. But their guy got one later in the game. So I'm gonna build a context of what had, like, the craziness that happened in the second half. So obviously we go up 13. The second half goes along. It's kind of just like a foul fest. Like, it was a shitty game to call. Like, it was just like probably boring to watch too.
Yeah, it was a ton.
It was just so a foul. And I get, if you're Arizona State, I'm playing physical too, and teams are going to do that to us. And I'm never knocking styles, but they were, our personnel's better than theirs, not a knock. So they were trying to be like, hey, let's play physical, see if they can handle it. And we got a good whistle, but it made sense too, right? But we ended up shooting 35 free throws. We go plus 14 on the glass, 16 assists, 14 turnovers. Not the 14 turnovers is a little uncharacteristic, okay? 6 of 21 from 3, yuck. But we hold them to 36%, 21 of 58 shooting, 10 for 30. And then they go 13 of 23 for 56%. So Graham doesn't get that technical. Okay, remember they made a run where they got it within like 6, and they go down, and Tyon goes up for a layup, and that Truant, the Argentina kid, makes a terrific block.
Yeah.
Blocks it clean. Tyon's a great athlete. Like, he times it. High-level basketball play. At perfect angle. I was like, oh, shit, a nice block. Boom. Says something to Tyon right in front of the ref. Technical. So Hurley starts going bonkers because he's like, and I get what he's saying. He's like, so that guy can, when he dunks on us, he can yell out, but when my guy blocks it, and I could read the ref's lips. Okay, he literally goes, the guy said, "Get that fucking shit out of here. What do you want me to do?" And so my point is, the referee like literally was like, kind of like, I have to call that.
Yeah,
and it's not a knock on the Truant kid. But you have to be craftier than that. You can't do it right in front of the official. Now, if people are listening, it's like, well, that's soft. It's like, it's an emphasis, man. Anytime there's like the F-bomb, they call it.
Yeah.
Now, they're playing in the park like that, and just playing in pickup, if somebody said that and it was a good block, I probably wouldn't be offended by it. Now, if they said it multiple times, then okay, then we got problems. It's just normal. It's normal, like, banter on the basketball court.
Right.
People have their views on the F-bomb, but the F-bomb is used a little bit more. If it's directed towards somebody, it's an auto T. You can yell the F-bomb if you're mad at yourself. Usually they tell you, like, hey, don't do that. But if they know that you're like, like when you miss a box out or something and you slap the ball, most 99% of the good refs are like, hey, man, don't use the F-bomb. All right, side out. You know what I mean? Like, they know. But if it's directed at somebody, it's an automatic. So Hurley started going absolutely bonkers. I get it. But again, I was like, I saw exactly what he said, and the ref is like asking, like, what do you want me to do? And so it was like, okay, is he going to get thrown or not? And it was like, because it was funny in the sense because he had a legitimate right to be upset. Okay, fast forward there in shortly after that sequence. There was, and he didn't get teed up for what I just talked about.
Right.
So you're like, okay, good job by the refs, because good refereeing is knowing when, even though you're right as a referee, but the other team feels like they're legitimately, logically jaded, you have to eat it a little bit as a ref. You just do. The good ones do. Be like, hey, man, I hear you. Cool it, and you can let a guy kind of steam off, but good ones would be like, okay, man, all right, I heard you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not quick on to be like, you can't talk to me like that. Some guys just, like, I got you. And then do you remember that pick and roll where Diop got it and Graham went across and like was trying to foul him. Now he got ball, but he swung and like he kind of grazed his head.
Yeah.
And it was one of those where he was trying to foul the guy because the scouting report is a 7-1 guy that I don't know his free throws, but I bet you he was a 65, maybe 70% free throw shooter. Foul the shit out of him, make him earn it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're caught, helping on a drive and then you're over late and you have a foul to give. It's like just foul him. Mm-hmm. And he tried to do that. Got the ball, but it's almost like where the ref should have just went like, boom, there would have been no reaction from us. No call. Then all hell was breaking loose. Like it was just, and you knew when it was like, okay, yeah, it was like 3, 2, 1, boom, he gets one. So we go on this like stretch where they get it to within like 6 or 8. And then I think the next 8 points we scored were from the free throw line. And 2 were technicals or whatever. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was like, We extended the lead, but we didn't play very good in the second half. Nobody did.
No,
it was like a disgusting game. We made free throws, which is a good thing because we've talked about it a little bit. That's been Achilles' heel on certain teams as free throw shooting. But that was like the longest second half I've had to call in a long time. And it's like, by that time, it's like 11. And so I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, shit, I got an hour post game. I'm like, I'm going to get back at like 1. Like for, like just to go to bed and get to the airport, I mean, I'm like, what's open to eat? Like, luckily we're in a college town. There's like but you're just like, if we were like somewhere else, we'd be screwed, like literally. So it was, of all the Hurley technicals I've ever seen, just when they post them and stuff, and I haven't seen a ton, that was the most legitimate one where he had the like legitimate case. Mm-hmm. And then to go further, do you remember the play at the end with like 2.5 minutes? And the game was still in our favor, but he does the challenge, and by far the challenge rule is way better than it was. Mm-hmm. They added it where if you challenge once, you keep your timeout, and then you get another one. Because remember, you could just go like this and challenge because remember some games it'd be so annoying and be like, oh my God. But teams used it as a free timeout.
Right.
Go look at it. Yeah. And it was like, come on, man. Like, but I don't blame them. Like I'm taking my advantage of the rules. Mm-hmm. And it was clear as day. It hit Mario's hands easily. The ball's going this, and he's going this way with his hand, right? And they give us the ball. I'm like,
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It was like, we have a monitor, and I'm watching it on the radio. I'm like, oh, that's Arizona State ball. Easy call. Me and Huddy are like, yep. And we come out, and they're like, Gonzaga. And I'm like, holy shit, he's going to get tossed. And so my point is, he had every right to lose his mind that entire game.
Yeah.
We got a better whistle. Yes, we were the better team. Yes, we were more aggressive. But there was some calls where like, holy shit, like, I don't blame him for losing his mind.
Right.
So I rarely say that as a Gonzaga fan, and I usually try to tell it like it is when we watch it, because obviously it's radio, so you gotta be honest with people. Mm-hmm. But there was like 3 or 4 that were like, could have gone either way. They all went our way, and so I was like, oh shit. So it was comical. I was laughing because I was like, I couldn't help myself. I was like, this is hilarious.
It was funny to watch.
I know, because it was just like he's getting screwed over. He's trying to, they didn't have a great year last year. They didn't extend him.
Yeah.
And he has a good team, and I think they'll be good. He's got a lot of talent, and he's got a great opponent, great chance, and he's just, the reffing was so against Arizona State. It was so bad. But we'll take it,
Yeah.
And, Graham Ike was absolutely terrific. Let's see, what was his final line? This is for a final right here, yeah. 20 points, 9 rebounds. He was 1 rebound away from 4 straight double-doubles. It would have been the first time in the few era it's ever happened. Kind of a weird stat.
Yeah.
2 assists. Inocente had a good game. 7 points, 3 of 6, 1 of 3 from downtown. Braden Huff, 11 points, fouled out. He had the weird foul at the end, got his 5th, and he was like on the other side. The officiating was just weird, like in just in general. They called, and I think they were trying to take over the game because it was getting physical, but they were calling like the odd, like just the wrong guy. Like when Braden fouled out, like B-Mike swore, he was like, that wasn't on you, because like we had to substitute. And he didn't want to sub Braden out, but like, we're right by the bench. But he was like, there's no way foul, It was like, you get 30 seconds to sub. But he was like, yeah, they called it on me. And he literally was like on the other, he was 2 feet away from the action. Like, so when we say the other side, that's what we mean.
Yeah.
But it was just like, what? So anyway, I talked to Braden. He did a interview with us after, and I was like, did you foul that guy? He's like, I wasn't even close. I was
Was that
like,
a makeup call?
No, I think he just there was it was a scrum. There's 3 of them in there, and he probably just picked the hand that looked like the hand that grabbed the jersey.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Whatever it was. But I was like, because it was like he fouled out with probably like 2.5 minutes to go, and when you're up like 12, you still have the opportunity to score more points, then you still have the opportunity to get fouled. I was like, that sucks, dude. You could have got to like 15, 16. He's like, yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you're always like, sweet, we're gonna get fouled at the end of the game, like. You'd have 18, and then you have 24. Like, oh, you had a really good game. Like, no, you didn't. You just have 6 more points.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
but he was solid, but just had a weird game with the fouls. Adam Miller put the game away, had 2 late threes late in that game. Didn't play good up until that point, so I had 10 points. So I was happy for him because he had a lot of people coming back home. 2 dagger threes late. We ran a couple sets for him. So
Yeah, it was cool.
That was good for him. Tyon, much better game, 14 and 12. He didn't foul that. Excuse me, the foul drawn, but he was terrific. Again, just didn't shoot it well from 3, but just flew around. That's all he's got to do. Fly around and get 10 to 15, and he'll have a game where he has 27. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's that talented. Mario didn't play well. Then Jalen was just Jalen. He had 4 points, 3 rebounds, but he's going to be on the floor. Like a lot of the things that he does is just not just the numbers thing. But again, we're going to be fair. Braden Smith, 9 assists, only 1 turnover. So in the last 2 games, 14 assists, 1 turnover. So pretty good.
Very good.
So he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, taking care of the nugget, distributing it. The scoring is going to come later.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for the kid because, like I said, that Creighton game, he didn't play very good against Oklahoma, and he got a quick leash.
Yeah.
Or a quick hook. Like it was boom. And he responded with a great floor game against Creighton, and then responded and backed it up with a great floor game for Arizona State. So I'm happy for him. So our guard play is terrific.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Mario. I like Braden. I think we're fine at the guard position. Once again, though, didn't shoot the ball well from 3. It's going to be something that is going to be interesting. We go plus 14 on the glass. Love that. But 6 of 21. So what's our total statistics, dude? Let's see here. What's our totals for the season?
I don't have the totals for the season.
Yeah, hold on. I think it's right here. No, Southern Union. But yeah, look that up when you get a chance.
Yeah.
We're probably in the low 30s, you think?
Oh, for threes?
For threes,
Oh,
yes.
I have that right here.
Yeah, what is it?
It is we are at 30 30%.
30%. Yeah. See, I've always said if you can at least be 33 with volume, you can survive. But as a team, you want to be to 35, 36, and then obviously everybody's like 40 is the magic number. That's hard to do with a team.
Yeah.
As a player, 40 is the number. So yeah, that part's concerning, and especially with the team coming up, or the players era coming up is going to be interesting if we can't make shots.
Yeah.
It'll be tough.
Well, that kind of brings me to our stat of the week presented by M4 CPA. I was during the Creighton game. I wouldn't say I was bored, but I was like putting together. I was like, you bring up the stat a lot of how many 3-point attempts does a team take to how many they make, and what is that like
Point per shot?
Point per attempt.
Yes.
And so I was like, I kind of want to track this during the season to see how it's going, how our percentage is going, and so like during the Creighton game, we shot 9 for 27, 33%, and that was 1 point per attempt.
Yes.
And then against ASU, it was 6 for 21, which wasn't great, 28%, and that is a 0.9 per attempt, and that's what you would be on the bad side.
So,
and yeah, but what I was going to ask is like, you bring up the stat a lot, and you talk about it on the radio too. Is this what is a good point per attempt on a three.
I think in theory, like the effective field goal percentage, and this is not perfect, but from what I've understand it. So if you ever look at box scores or breakdowns of individual players, and they do it a lot of times going into the past when they want to argue like legends, because if you really want, you have to break down, okay, Larry Bird shot this percentage, but back then it was a much different shot, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's a small E and then field goal percentage, and then it's usually higher than your actual. So I think my understanding of it, and I'm not perfect on it, is it's how many points do you get just per attempt. So there used to be a OER and DER, offense efficiency rating, that we used to keep track. My dad used to do it as a coach, and then we kept track of it in high school, and then a lot of programs did it. And then DER, defense efficiency rating. So OER, if you were at like my memory's going to the exact number, but if you were like at a 1.25 or a 1.5, so you got basically 1.25 points per possession totality in the game, you're probably going to win. And then the goal was to always keep your team or your defending under one. So
Gotcha.
if you were at 0.9, so when we used to come in at halftime in high school, there'd be OER, then our coach would write it down. So then we knew that we always had goals, plus 10 on the glass, plus, and like Gonzaga used to do it, blah, blah, blah. But the analytics, it was analytics before analytics.
Right.
So the thought is the same thing with 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Is, let's say, you've heard me say it, like, we played somebody earlier this year that went 10 for 30 the previous game. Doesn't matter.
Right.
But we were like, oh, they took 33s. It was like, well, you got a point per shot.
Yeah.
So it works out better the more you take, and that's the argument for teams that shoot a lot of threes.
Yes.
That's the counter to it's shitty basketball. It's a bad shot. Obviously, 3 is worth more than 2. And then whatever the math is, it's 1.5 per, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the made shot compared to 2. And that's where the game has slowly moved towards. Now it's kind of regressed back to the mean. And it sounds funny, but like the Oklahoma City Thunder winning kind of helped basketball. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes a lot of 2-point jumpers.
Yeah.
But they're like, that's the shot you get, and we're pretty good. And it's like, some people are like, thank God, because it's not just jacking threes. Like, sometimes that's the shot you get. Like we talked about earlier in the episode, Braden Smith on the plug with Creighton on the ball screen, pull up jumper from 15 foot. That's what they gave him, and he knocked him down. And then they kind of had to get out of it. You know what I mean? So like, you can't forget that part of the game is what I'm trying to get at. So I think you're exactly right. Like, we should look at Gonzaga, because their percentage is bad.
Yeah.
30 is not good. But if you're shooting, let's say we shoot 10 for 30 next game against an Alabama team, we'll talk about them next episode, that'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because it's 30, but that's way more attempts than what we're kind of used to. We're in the mid-20s or lower 20s, sometimes below 20. So 30 would be top half. And with 2 really good bigs, you'd probably go, well, what happened in the game? What was the context behind the number of attempts? Foul trouble,
right,
somebody's off or whatever, somebody's hurt, or, let's say, some guy's just 0 for 7. You're just like, fuck, he says off night, he's sick or something, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a very good stat, because it does make sense when you're looking at how many threes you take and how many points you get theoretically. It doesn't go up on the scoreboard, but that's the kind of the counter argument to the analytic side of taking a bunch of threes.
Gotcha. So yeah, right now we're at a 0.9 per attempt when we shoot, which is not good.
Yeah, it's not good. So interesting. That's bravo.
I looked at your stats when you're in. I thought you shot a lot more threes.
I didn't shoot a ton.
And you didn't shoot a ton of threes.
Nope.
And like I think for your career at Gonzaga, you were like right around a 1.
Yep. I was probably the only year I shot good was my junior year.
Yeah.
I was like more of a scorer. People in even around town thought in high school I barely shot threes in high school. I was just a scorer, drive jumpers, you know what I mean, and all those things.
But if you took all your makes and attempts, you were like at like a 1.5.
Oh, nice. So there you go. Yeah. Well, perfect.
So
but yeah, it's just the game was different.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I played, if you made 4 threes, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I think my career high might have been 5. But if you made 3 in a game, like, oh man, you must have been on fire. Now it's like you should shoot 10. You should shoot 10. Like, I remember I think my junior year, and then I think for sure senior year, they were telling Derek Rabby to shoot 10 threes a game, and that was like bonkers back then.
Yeah.
But he was really good at it, and he was a smaller guard, obviously effective, but they were like, no, you're good enough to shoot 10. Now, like, shit, you watch a lot of teams, like, yeah, fucking, like, I'd want someone right, like Steel Venters and Adam Miller, like, if all their shots are from 3, not that it would be perfect, but you'd be like, they can each shoot 5 a game, you'd live with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right, you know what I mean? Because percentage-wise, they're probably going to go 2 for 5, and some nights they're going to go 4 for 5, or 5 for 5. So, yeah, it is, when you look at old stats, that's what I was saying earlier about when we first got into this, like when you look back at other players, like, you know, when they compare all-time greats, the NBA, you have to look at the numbers, you have to skew them a little bit.
Right.
Well, how many 3-point attempts were teams taking back then? It was like 15 probably a game, not even that.
No, yeah.
And your coach would be like, God damn it, throw it inside. Right? Now it's like, we're going to shoot 35.
Yeah.
And we might shoot 45 one night, and if we're rolling, we're going to score 22. We're going to make 22 of them. We're going to blow you out of the gym, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So it's just such a different style. But the point per shot is the analytic to the excuse. That's the best word I can use. But the excuse for taking a lot of not bad threes, but a lot of threes.
Right.
But if you're a traditionalist, you're like, you hate it.
We're taking a ton of threes. So, like, I mean, I shouldn't say a ton. I think we're like 22 per game.
Yeah, we're in the mean. I think we're right in the meat. Maybe a little bit high, but not like these other teams, especially when you get into conference that are not as skilled as us. If I'm them, honestly, and I've said this on the radio, I've done it 6 or 7 years. I haven't seen a team. I would do it one time. Like, if you think let's say you're a 25-point dog, let's shoot 45 threes tonight, guys.
I could see it happening against Southern Utah.
Why not? Like, and it might look like complete trash, but let's shoot 45 of them, and maybe we make 20 of them, and we're in the game.
Yeah.
And then if you start making them, the driving lanes will open up. You have to space out, but it's easier said than done. But I've thought that before. I'm like, why doesn't a team just, like, first side jack, let's shoot 50 threes tonight? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're probably going to get blown out by 30. You don't tell your guys that, but, like, duh. Let's just put all guards and just chuck. Right? And maybe you get rolling, but I don't know. Anyway.
So next segment we got is Foundation Player of the Week, presented by McGilvery Environmental. Who is your Foundation Player of the Week?
Graham was terrific in both games.
Yeah.
He's had a terrific start to his senior season. He's really been a load inside, scoring the basketball, rebounding. Like I said, almost had 4 straight double-doubles. First time it's ever happened in the FEW era, and there's a lot of great pick.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy stat that's never happened. But just and his poise too. Like, what was the game he started 0 for 5? It was terrible. Recently, was it the first game?
I think
of the
it was
season
the first game of the season. Yeah.
And you couldn't even tell emotionally, and then he ended up having a good game that game too, and it's just been rolling ever since. So, I think Graham's been absolutely terrific. Obviously, that's what you want from your senior, your leader, your emotional leader, but his temperament's been terrific, and I mean that in a complimentary way because I like guys that are close to the edge. I don't mind a technical here and there. I really don't. I like guys that are kind of talking trash. Like I said, you just got to be smart about it. Like I was talking about the Arizona State guy, terrific play. You just can't say the F-bomb right in front of a ref. Why don't you wait till they run down, and then when you pass them, like, get that shit out of here. Like, don't ever come in there. You know, like, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
So I think Graham has been absolutely terrific. That dunk at the end of the first half was awesome.
It was great, yeah.
It was great. Like, just one-hand palm, and it's always fun watching lefties dunk.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just different.
He was just put on the, like, Naismith's watch list. Which
should be.
And he's, I mean, if he keeps on going the way he's going, it's going to be a great season for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been terrific, and he's definitely the Foundation Player of the Week.
Yeah. Our Ask Adam segment, presented by Idaho Central Credit Union, comes from a longtime listener, Josh Boone.
The Perimeter will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
It's time for home team rewards. Zag fans, get your Bulldog branded ICCU Premier Rewards Visa credit card, the only card where you can earn rewards for everyday purchases while giving back to Gonzaga University. Choose from a Visa rewards card with a lower rate or a Premier Rewards card with maximum rewards. With no annual fees, card control, and next level security, you can spend smart from tap to app. Zags, rejoice! Find your card at iccu.com/go Zags on approved credit.
Idaho Central Credit Union, our Ask Adam segment presented by Idaho Central Credit Union comes from a longtime listener, Josh Boone. He would like to know, why doesn't Few play Mario and Braden Smith together at times when other teams press us? I know we have Warley to help out with that, but wouldn't we be even better with all three? I would like to see a 3-4 minute stretch with Smith and Mario out there in some games.
That's a good question. We haven't been pressed much, so that situation hasn't been brought up a ton. I think maybe the counter to that is defensively. You could argue that Mario's a big guard. I don't really know the answer to that, to be honest, because it's not wrong to have him off the floor, but it's right too. But also the guard play besides them two on the floor is fine.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a solution to a problem that's not there.
It doesn't exist yet.
Doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But it's a fair point. It's a basketball point. But I don't think Jalen's a terrific ball handler.
Yeah.
He's a point guard.
I mean, he was. During the Arizona State game, he was pushing people off him, telling them I'll take it down the court.
Yeah. And if obviously I sit right next to the bench, and that's why road games are great. And obviously, but we're a little bit closer. I get we're not as far back. But every time that they were pressing, Stephen Gentry was Jalen, take it out. So then once it came in, they threw it right back to him.
Right.
That's what a lot of times your best ball handler is because then the trap comes or the pressure, then you just throw it to that guy, then you're off to your races, or you just go get out. That's a great question, but I just don't think there's a reason. But it might arise later in the season if the team's playing crazy. But even an Innochente's not bad in the open court. Yeah. I don't think Adam Miller's bad in the open court. I don't think Tyon's bad in the open court. I don't think Steele's bad in the. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's not a guy where you're on the perimeter when they're bringing it up. You're oh shit. Right.
Yeah, it's
there's
true.
not. So it's a great question, but I don't think it's there's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I'm assuming we'll see them on the floor at some time together during the season, especially during the WCC conference. But it's a good problem. It's a good problem to have. This depth problem that the Gonzaga has right now is not a problem. It's just it's fun to watch that. Be 10 people, 11 players deep sometimes.
Deep. Yeah, legitimately deep. Where there's certain lineups you can obviously mix and match. Then there's also certain combos, and then you can kind of match up personnel usually with most clubs. Yeah, just because we have so much length defensively on the perimeter than our two big lefties, and then even Dejana off the bench, man. I know he's our de facto 12th guy, but when he goes in, I don't feel oh crap. He's gonna be fine too. And you know what I mean? He's improved a ton from last year. Just watching how he moves and catches. And he's going to get a lot of burn next year, theoretically. Yeah. Right? Graham's leaving. So it's every guy that goes in and every combo of lineup that goes in, legitimately, I don't feel there's a bad way you could do it. And that's not just saying because we have the show that follows Gonzaga basketball, but it's legitimate. There's been some years where you're get that guy off the floor, please. You don't say it out loud, but you're get him off the floor. If they're pressing, just sub him out, and then when they're not pressing, get him back in. That's legitimate.
I was talking to my wife about it. I've been to every game this year so far at home, and some years sometimes I'll skip a smaller game a Southern Utah game, and honestly, this team, and as I'm sure as most fans probably agree, is this is electric team to watch. I am fun. Excited to turn on the TV, watch them on that was the first time I watched them on TV, but this going to the games and this kind of who's going to be the guy tonight is such a fun
we're just
part of Gonzaga.
We're so dynamic defensively, so we create turnovers, and then obviously having two skilled bigs makes it fun because if you like the traditional basketball, but we don't play like it's not blocker mover, fucking slow, but it's also like you can throw it to two guys that can score, and then we have two. We got Tyon can leap, Jalen can leap, and then we got like it's just a well balanced team. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. I'm really excited. I think we said that in episode 2 or whatever. Just watching it was like. So fun. This is gonna be a fun. Me and Huddy after one of the games like this will be a fun year.
Yeah.
Good or bad, we're gonna let it rip. You know what I mean? We have that type of club. So yeah, Southern Utah's Ken Palm 303. That's the preview you're gonna get.
Yeah.
The line's probably 27.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or something stupid. I have no clue. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. But it's just probably something dumb where you're just like, okay, yeah. So. I'll be telling stories in the second half. But, yeah, thanks for listening. Next week or coming up, we're going to talk about the Players era. Big, huge game against Alabama and Maryland and a TBD. But a fun series coming up. Thanks for listening.